Friends, Hari Prasad is back with another lecture on soft skills. Topic is employability skills. In this era, employability is a big problem. Employability is not there for the educated youth. It's a big problem today. Why? Because students don't have the soft skills. The level of employability is just 25% today. If 100 students are produced, only 25 students are getting job. Even those 25 students also, some of them are underemployed. Even in 25% also, some are underemployed. Why underemployment? What is the reason? Because some of them don't have complete soft skills. India's economy has been growing at a steady rate. Booming economy means that the production and consumption is going steady. Production and consumption going steady is called booming economy. Rather, it is continuously moving. Continuously moving economy is called booming economy. With the growing economy, jobs are also getting created in all sectors. If economy grows, jobs are created, the youth will get absorbed in the jobs, but youth should have soft skills. Even jobs will not be filled if the students don't have the soft skills. Jobs are being created, there are no enough suitable takers. Jobs are created, the takers are not there. Suitable takers are not there. That means candidates with soft skills are not available for those jobs available. There is no guarantee of a job commensurate with the qualifications. There is no job commensurate with qualifications. The number of colleges and universities have increased exponentially. Colleges increased, universities increased exponentially. But what is the use? Where is the quality? Where is the quality, you tell me? For example, take Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh. Almost every district has a university. Needed? Barring Prakasam district and Vizianagaram district, almost all the districts in Andhra Pradesh have the universities. That is not good for higher education. In Andhra Pradesh, over 15 universities are there. Take Orissa. Orissa, over 29 districts are there in Orissa. They have how many universities? Utkal University at Bhubaneswar, Sambalpur University at Sambalpur, Berhampur University at Berhampur. Only 3 universities. Why so many universities in Andhra Pradesh? Higher education is going waste in Andhra Pradesh. What is the performance of universities? Vikram Simhapuri University, Adikavi Nannaya University, Ambedkar University at Srikakulam. What are the standards of these universities? Universities are churning out graduates, postgraduates. But where is the employment for them? Okay, churn out, but with good hard skills and soft skills. No soft skills, only hard skills are stressed. What is the use? That is why I tell you, in higher education, if more universities are there, but you have to do one thing, that is teach soft skills also in the curriculum itself. Government has allowed mushrooming of institutes everywhere with a resultant dip in quality. Andhra government allowed universities start district universities, but there is a dip in quality in education. Everyone knows it. The employability levels of the students passing out from these institutes is less than 25%. Less than 25% of these students studied in these universities are getting employed. Less than 25%. What about the 75% and above? They are not getting. They just got a degree, PG. What is the use? Tell me. The organizations which restricted their search to top engineering colleges or B schools are now moving towards Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges. Organizations earlier they were going to top institutions, top engineering colleges, top business schools. Today organizations stopped going to top ones and they are going to even Tier 2, Tier 3 colleges also. Why? Some students may be good in those colleges. That's why organizations are going there. Skill gap has become very pronounced. Skill gap, we already know it. New professionals are required to communicate, work in multicultural, multilingual teams and show high emotional maturity. New professionals required to communicate well. Communication is the buzzword in today's world. But Indian professional standards exposed not just in India but also internationally. Indian professional standards are exposed. Why foreign countries are not believing Indian education? What is the reason? Why Prithvi wants to go to a foreign university when there are so many universities here? What is the reason? Education should be business in the campus itself. Education, education, education. Education includes hard skills and soft skills. On quality front, Indians have been to be lacking. Quality Indians are lacking. Countries like Malaysia, Macau, Philippines, Russia, Ireland, Brazil, Thailand offer cheaper services. Why not India? You know the reason. India shifts to services economy from manufacturing. India is now shifting its economy to services economy from manufacturing economy. The professionals are found wanting in non-technical skills. Today's professionals are found lacking non-technical skills. Technical skills are subject knowledge, non-technical skills are soft skills. These skills are now known under one umbrella term, employability skills, as they ultimately impact both the employability as well as continuity employment of a person. Employability skills, which are also called soft skills, are required for getting employment and continuity in employment. What is the present scenario? Let us see. Big employability issue among the educated youth. Employability issue is there among the educated youth. Jobs in village secretariat filled in Andhra government with a salary of rupees 15,000 per month is an eyewash which can't be called creation of jobs. Never. At least 20,000 salary per month for a job in Indian village can be defined as a job. If 20,000 salary per month is there in Indian village, that can be defined as job today. Today, 30% of all engineers, 25% of all finance and accounting professionals, and 20% of the general graduates from colleges and universities are employable. 30% from engineering colleges, 25% finance and accounting professionals, 20% general graduates, they are employable today. Others, they don't have employability skills. Several surveys say out of every 100 students passing out from our engineering and business colleges, only about 25% are actually employable, rest are unemployable. Several surveys conducted in business colleges and engineering colleges. Only 25% of the products come out from engineering and business colleges, they are employable. Only 25%. Only 23% graduates from Tier 2, Tier 3 are found employable. From Tier 2, Tier 3 colleges, only 23% graduates are found employable. NAAC graded 90% of colleges and 70% of universities as poor quality. 90% of colleges, 70% of universities. 90% colleges, 70% universities. They are of poor quality. NAAC declared. NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council from Ministry of Education, Government of India. The picture looks gloomy whatever way you look at it. Whatever way you look at it, the picture looks gloomy, darker. Medical seats are sold for lakhs. You know that. The scenario is gloomy in other disciplines, be it management, pharmacy, engineering, law, architecture. In these colleges, the scenario is gloomy. So rot in the system is across. There is a rot in the system across. Before, we used to take pride in the fact that India had one of the largest pool of engineers and traditional professionals. Before, trained professionals, strong professionals were available in India. That was the talk before. That is why they were all taken to America. They are all in America working. Satya Nadella, all these people, they are working now in America. Before, there was the talk that India produces strong professionals, strong engineers. Now the scene is reversed. Today, worldwide, we receive flack over the quality of our professionals. We are receiving criticism, flack worldwide. What type of professionals you are producing? India is receiving flack from all over the world. Mushrooming of management and engineering colleges across the country, especially in Andhra Pradesh. Mushrooming of colleges. What is the use? Tell me. Less focus on quality of education, students' holistic development, industry relevant research, quality of faculty, latest technological and business inputs, institute-industry interface. There is no linkage between institute and industry. No linkage. So, lack of focus on quality in education. That is why Indian professionals today, they are not able to go to foreign countries. The reason? What is the reason? Because they lack professionalism. The colleges, universities are producing such graduates and postgraduates. What is the use? Tell me. Less focus on quality of education. Students' holistic development, there is no focus. industry relevant research is not there, quality of faculty is not there. When faculty doesn't have quality, then what will they teach? Latest technological and business inputs are not researched. Institute industry linkage is not there. Then how you expect good professionals? Tell me. Strong professionals. Thus, the students who pass out of these institutes are not industry ready. The students who are passing out of these institutes, colleges, universities, they are not industry ready. Most get rejected at the first interaction stage itself. Most get rejected first interaction stage itself. And even when they get placed, in many cases they are underemployed. If they are placed, they are underemployed most of the cases. Underemployed means they are not able to work in the company. To address this gap in employability, finishing schools have sprung up, which provide the middle layer between the institutes and the industry. Why finishing schools sprung up? Because in between institute and industry, in between university and industry, finishing schools sprung up, the third layer. Why? Why? Because the students manufactured by universities are not industry ready. To make them industry ready, the finishing schools sprang up. Finishing schools train students on the employability skills and make them ready to face interviews. Even in campus selections, provisional offer letters are issued. Post this shortlisting, the students are supposed to undergo rigorous training with a training partner and clear exams. Only when they clear this second step, final order is made or withdrawn as the case may be. Students are taken in campus interviews. They were given offer letter. They have to undergo rigorous training under a third partner. Finally, order may be withdrawn or may be issued. Final order. That is the state of affairs today. How many are getting offer letters in the campus interviews, in the campus recruitment drive? And why most of them are rejected at the final stage? What is the reason? See, the pity of things. Employability skills students lack or focus shifted from manufacturing to services. Customers buy product and implicit assurance attached to it. The availability and quality of after sales service has become more important than ever. Consumer Protection Act has given more teeth to consumers. Customers, those in service industry are directly involved with the customer. Thus, their interpersonal communication became important. Students focus on clearing exams, just to clear the exams, no soft skills. Teachers focus on complete the syllabus. Completing the syllabus, it is the focus of the teachers. No one has time to go beyond the framework of the syllabus. The industry has moved from IQ to EQ, IQ, intelligent quotient, to EQ, emotional quotient, to SQ, spiritual quotient, to HQ, happiness quotient. Today what is required? Not to IQ, not to EQ, not to SQ. Today required HQ. How? The paradigm shift, you see. From intelligent quotient to emotional quotient. Emotional quotient to spiritual quotient. Spiritual quotient to happiness quotient, HQ. This is the paradigm shift now. happiness required today. Practically, one can't do the job. Team required. Today, one man doing no. Team required. Interact with others in formal or informal ways. Today, industry requires technical knowledge, that is domain knowledge, and also soft skills. Collectively, these two are employability skills. Employability skills are hard skills and soft skills are called employability skills. Collectively, hard skills and soft skills are called employability skills. The domain knowledge, the subject knowledge is hard skill. Soft skill you already know. People skills are soft skills. So collectively these two are called employability skills. Hard skills for getting interview call. Soft skills for success at interview in employment and continuation of employment. I am giving you some employability skills now. 1. Hard skills. Knowledge. Hard skills mean knowledge. Technical knowledge, functional knowledge, domain knowledge, core skills, general aptitude, English writing skill, basic information technology, basic IT. Number 2, soft skills. Personal management, professional skills, positive attitude, employee needs, ASK, attitude, skills, knowledge. Technical and domain or knowledge areas. English and IT are skill areas. A person's behavior is reflected through his soft skills. Knowledge enhancement can be measured. Skill enhancement can be measured. Behavioral change is very difficult to measure. It can be experienced. Behavioral change can be experienced, cannot be measured. Technical or functional skills are acquired in the institute as a part of curriculum. Domain knowledge can be acquired through industry exposure. Core skills are general aptitude, basic English, basic IT skills, without which a person may be considered illiterate. General aptitude can be acquired through reading newspaper, magazine, internet and TV. Basic spoken English is must have skill. Basic written English is must have skill. Basic IT skills must possess. Computers have pervaded every business and being able to use word processing tools, spreadsheets, presentation tools, send, receive mails and surf internet are considered part of being literate. Personal management skills enhance the productivity of a person. What are the personal management skills? 1. Time management. 2. Stress management. 3. Work-life balance. 4. Personal quality. Personal skills help a manager perform his role in a professional manner. The skills required for professionals. The skills that are must for professionals are 1. Goal setting. 2. Problem solving techniques. 3. Customer orientation. 4. Performance management. 5. Business writing. 6. Presentation skills. 7. People management. 8. Coaching. 9. Business etiquette. 10. Conducting effective meetings. 11. Negotiation skills. 12. Art of delegation. 13. Strategic planning. 14. Selling skills. 15. Telephone handling skills. 16. Decision making. 17. Basic business metrics. 18. Conflict handling. 19. Change management. Soft skills are behavioral skills. We already know it. Soft skills are important which impact employability. Number 20. Positive attitude. 21. EI. Emotional intelligence. 22. Communication skills. 23. Positive personality. 24. Interpersonal skills. 25. Motivation. 26. Leadership skills. 27. Teamwork. 28. Social etiquette. 29. Assertiveness. These are the skill sets required for employment today. Institutes focus on technical knowledge as part of the syllabus. They don't focus on soft skills. Some institutes also teach personality development, facing interviews, group discussions, etc. in addition to domain knowledge, subject knowledge. Soft skills help students to be able to cross the selection hurdle. That is why I firmly say that a lot still to be done to make sure that the students become employable and remain employed. With the government resources, the challenge can't be faced. Concerted effort on the part of all stakeholders in the education process required. The students, educational institutes, the government bodies and the industry. Recommendations. 1. Bring vocational courses. This will address knowledge and skill gap in the vocational streams. China has 4,000 different courses at the school level which provide opportunity to students to choose and develop skills in the area of their interest and aptitude from an early age. 2. Start internship that gets students confident. The earlier they start, the better would be their personality development and acclimatization with the world. 3. Involve private sector as it is best competencies required across industries. This could be the basis for designing the right syllabus. There is a need to supplement the knowledge being imparted in our institutions with practical knowledge, exposure to industry, real world issues, skill based trainings, behavioral skills, IT skills, communication, etc. Create right diagnostic tools to identify the skill gaps vis-a-vis competency framework so that appropriate learning interventions could be designed. The gap analysis would throw up areas where groups of individuals could be imparted specific learning support. Create a syllabus for different industry needs. There should be more choices available to students to pick and choose subjects of their own choice rather than doing what is available. 5. Massive, planned, regular FTPs, faculty development programs must be undertaken. Faculty are the most critical component. 6. Make it attractive for industry people to join academics. 7. Better industry-academia relationship. The industry is direct customer for the products of education institutions. 8. Have an accreditation system to allow professional agency to accredit institutions. Make it mandatory for all the colleges to get external industry-led accreditation and not by government bodies. 9. Modernize institutions so that the students find it interesting to go there. Create a level playing field. Develop technology, infrastructure and tools to make learning interesting. 10. Allowing foreign universities to set up shop here in India. Increased competition will lead to better quality of our own colleges and universities. To conclude, the road ahead is not rosy. The kind of activism shown by our present leadership like RUSA, SSA, EQUIP, signs of positive. The real challenge is to improve the quality of education to students. There is a long way to go before we turn around the corner. High time to address quality of faculty, the continuous upgradation of syllabus, the teaching methodology, etc. With RUSA, the signs are positive now. Let us keep our fingers crossed. Before closing this lecture, I will give you 3 rules for success. Number 1, trust your brain. Number 2, trust yourself. Number 3, trust Hari Prasad. You become leader in life. Thank you. Carpe diem.